Good morning, and it's kind of the morning. We'll take it as the morning. It's 12:16. That's definitely the morning, right? That's how the morning works. Nice. Welcome into twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. My name is Graham D, and I'm joined by the man that we call Bibby.
Good after morning.
Good after morning. Good mornish. How are we all doing? Welcome into the stream. If you are in here, do what Precision TV has just done and type something in the chat. Nice. Do feel free to do so. If you don't know who we are, my name is Graham Day. This is Bib. We are Ice Cream Uploads, and in true ice creamy fashion, this is The Scoop, the UK's #1 video game podcast, if we do say so ourselves. We are live on twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads, where we record this podcast each and every single weekday at 10 a.m. Ish.
Apart from if it was Tuesday.
Yeah, apart from it's Tuesday, where we just thought, fuck that shit. No. We had a meeting that was kind of like unscheduled that was we're hoping would be quick and then wasn't quick, so we just didn't get
I remember you saying an hour. Yeah, right, 10-15 minutes max.
Oh, that was wishful thinking.
It's about an hour and 45 minutes.
6 days later. Anyway, so we are here to give you our thoughts and our impressions on the biggest, the best, the breaking stories from the world of video games, and we want to hear your thoughts and impressions, then your thoughts and impressions on our thoughts and impressions. That's kind of the whole thing works. So if you are on the stream, please do feel free to get involved. Do what Tito's just done and type emotes like your nan, because you can like your nan. Anyway, feel free to get involved in the stream. We are live on Twitch, but the live stream is turned into a podcast, a video on YouTube, and an audio podcast on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Music, and Google Play. There is lots of places where you guys can get where people listen to the show. Not you guys can get involved. There's only one place you can get involved in that conversation. That's on Twitch. But there is lots of places where people listen to that conversation, and I say lots of people. Lots of places. There is over 200,000 people now that have listened to this podcast and watched this podcast on demand. Madness. So please do feel free to get involved on behalf of all of those people that do watch it on demand. On demand? I can't words today. It's fine. We had a day off. Gax says new burger place just opened in Liverpool. Burgerism. The original actually was based about 5 to 10 minutes away from me. I've had Burgerism a few times. Nice.
I have not.
It started just on Media City in Salford. Only one of those like Uber Eats delivery business kind of kitchens that you can't actually go into, but they order it. The first time I ordered it, it was incredible. And then the second time I ordered it, it was really good. And then the third time I ordered it, it was fucking dreadful. To the point where... they use turkey bacon anyway, which is not a problem for me. I'll take turkey bacon. I prefer bacon, but I'll take turkey bacon. But the first 2 times I had the turkey bacon, it was decent. The third time I had it, it was like an absolute. It looked like a rat's tail, and it was dry and hard like a claw. And yeah, so I naturally I post when I have a great burger, and I post when I have a shit burger as well. So I posted that burger, and. They responded and said, look, that is crap. We apologise for that. Let me send you another one. And they didn't just send us the replacement burger. They replaced the entire, 45 quid's worth of meals kind of thing, because by the time my burger would have arrived, everything else would have been cold. So they just sent us everything again. and it was exceptional when it arrived. So what was going to be a bad thing turned out to be a great thing. So Burgerism is good. Would recommend and good service. So they done fucked up, but then they unfucked up times a bajillion. So would recommend. I genuinely would recommend. Really good. Good. Don't they call those dark kitchens? Is that an actual name, or is this leading me down some sort of punny avenue? I don't know. So yeah, definitely try it. I don't know if it's the same for you, but they often have like a meal deal for us where you get it like 2 burgers, 2 fries, and 2 drinks or whatever for like 20 quid or something like that. But then, I don't know, I'm probably not going to be the same in Liverpool, but in Manchester, they throw in a couple of Vimto sweets in the bottom, because why not? Who doesn't want a Vimto chewy in the bottom of their burger box? Let's go, baby!
So, yeah, the Vimto sticks are amazing, the chewy sticks.
Yeah, basically that, but in like chew-it sized. Just like 1, 2 in the bottom of the box. Nice. No, genuinely, the restaurants that don't exist as such, they're just kitchens for delivery. Ah, okay. Didn't know that was the phrase for it. So we have a Wendy's, like, a distance away from my house that's not too bad. Try not to dox myself. So there's a Wendy's not too far as well. I mean, Salford's an entire city, so that would be quite difficult. So there's a Wendy's in Salford. I saw the sign for it, Wendy's this way. So I was like on the way to school, dropping Chloe off. I thought, well, I'm definitely coming back this way, even though this is not the way that I come back from the school run, just because I want to see Wendy's. And then saw that it was a dark kitchen, so it's just Wendy's delivery kind of thing. So we don't have actual restaurant Wendy's, which the first time I try a Wendy's, I don't want it to be like dark kitchen stuff. I want it to be fresh, made there kind of thing. It might not be exceptional, might be okay, might be decent, might be great, wherever it sits on the scale. I just want it to give it a fair shout. So yeah. They've got an actual restaurant here. All right, show off, settle down. Good. Anyway, before we go any further, let me remind you that we are talking about video games news. We're going to bring you a bunch of stories today, but before we do that, let's jump into a couple of talking points. First of all, the loot drop was claimed the other day by Batman Dan. I don't believe Batman Dan still has picked his game for the loot drops. So we have given a prize away. He's still not taking it, but we can't re-roll it because he's claimed it. So sort it out, Batman Dan, or else... If P Honey's watching this, you told him to come claim his prize. You tell him to pick one now, P Honey. God damn. As well as that, shout out to our channel sponsors, !Astro in the chat. That's the headsets that me and Bib are wearing. These are Astro A40s. But we've just had confirmation that the A30s that our two winners won during the Royal Rumble, that was Gorilla for the first glider kill, the OG mission, shooting someone else out of a glider, and the comeback killer mission for Kenny Cobra. He got the first kill inside the comeback arenas. If you don't know what the Royal Rumble was, it was a PUBG tournament we ran just over 6 weeks ago. Those prizes have been dispatched, so they will start showing up soon. So if anyone follows Kenny Cobra, probably in the next couple of days, you'll see him posting about his brand new sexy A30 headset. And if anyone follows Gorilla, I imagine by the end of the week, if not next week, transatlantic travel and stuff like that, that will probably be showing up. But shout out to Astro for that level of support. We appreciate that very much. And the same to ! Insert coin. You might see that Bibby sat there in his insert coin hoodie, and I'm sat here in my insert coin t-shirt. Oof, let's go big. Let's go big Bib.
What's the game that you're wearing that t-shirt from?
It's The Last of Us.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, this is the t-shirt that Ellie wears. Come back to me now. This is the t-shirt that Ellie wears in the first Last of Us game. Woo.
Right. You see, when I saw it before, and then this isn't a slant insert coin, I thought it looked like something that you get from Primark.
I think that's kind of the idea. Like, it looks like, your generic, oh, he's wearing a Hawaiian t-shirt sort of thing.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of the idea, because the designers in the game, there's no wording, no branding. They've not tried to build like a Nuka-Cola or a Calorie Mate or anything like that. They've just gone generic Hawaiian sort of print. But Insert Coin, when they were making their tees, they thought, fuck it, we'll just do a generic Hawaiian print. So people will think that either it's just a casual, plain, off-the-shelf t-shirt, but those people that know.
Yeah, it completely went over my head.
Nice. I just want smashed patties. All right, Gak, settle down. It's not that sort of stream. Oh, burgers. Okay, there we go. I was just searching a clip of the Boys actor doing media rounds with interviewers. A British female interviewer asked, if you could teleport anywhere around the world, where would it be? For me, it would be from my bed to Five Guys. Two genuinely very confused looking actors wondering why the interview was discussing sexual kinks. The penny dropped and the interviewer clarified, blushing profusely. Imagine, from my bed to Five Guys. Yeah. Oh, big fan of Five Guys, by the way. And the burgers are decent too. Disappointing thing about Five Guys is not Five Guys. It's the people that just exist to call it shit. There's a lot of people I know, including...
I was definitely one of those.
Have you tried it, though?
Well, I know we're getting off a slight tangent here, but when Five Guys... I never had Five Guys until they made like a... what do you call it? Like an enterprise? What is it? A franchise.
Yeah.
When there was a franchise shop in Ashton on the Moss. And I never had it. But walking into a place that's right next to a McDonald's and then like a Hollywood Bowl next to it, which Obviously, the food from both of those places, kind of fast food, relatively priced. You're happy doing that. But then when the burger's twice the price, for like me and Samantha to go and you're walking out, it's like 27 quid. And I'm like, it's a lot of fucking money, that. So I didn't rate it based off of how much it costs. Now, this was, bear in mind, like 12 years ago or whatever. Wasn't on that good of a wage, definitely minimum wage job that I was doing. So 27 pound was quite a little bit of money, especially for what you consider fast food. However,
It's not fast food.
However, Samantha made me go back to Five Guys and try it like 5 years ago. And I'm glad that I give it the second go. Because usually I'm quite foot down. I'm not fucking going back there again. If I don't like a place, it's very rare that I give second chances. That comes with people as well, believe it or not.
Why am I still here?
Yeah, exactly. I know. Well, sorry, you pay my wages, so I suppose I have to tolerate. But yeah, I'm so glad that I ended up going back, because now it's like if I want to go out, rather than Samantha say, "Oh, I want to go to McDonald's," it's like fuck that. I'd rather pay like the extra £4 and have something that's actually really, really nice and something that'll fill you up.
It is proper expensive, but it's also not. So I don't compare it to McDonald's, and that's where the issue is for me. McDonald's and Burger King and stuff like that is fast food. Then you've got like other end of the spectrum. Not that I'm talking in terms of quality, but in terms of pomp. Then you'll get your fucking restaurants that will sell you burgers on a plate and give you a knife and fork with it. No, I don't think so. Actually, mate, it's in a bun. That is my knife and fork. Thank you. But then you get this kind of middle area where you get the likes of your Gourmet Burger Kitchen, your Honest Burgers, your Five Guys and so on, and Five Guys Smashers, all of those. Gourmet Burger Kitchen, GBK, decent. Five Guys, so much better. But it has enough of the juicy sexiness that makes you feel like it's fast food. So it's like it's got the like guilty pleasure that fast food has, but it's got the quality that gourmet shit has, which is good. I understand if people don't like skin on fries. That's a different conversation. I like skin on fries. So get the Cajun powder all over the skin on fries. Spicy fries, job's good and fuck you, smash, mate. But yeah, does work out as about 14 quid, 15 quid for a meal, whereas McDonald's, you're looking at 5 quid for a meal. So it is a big old difference, 100% different. But
this is where I have the conversation of Slim Chickens is the better version of KFC, and then Five Guys is the superior version of McDonald's. Yeah. That's the way that I see it. If I was to explain it to someone who didn't know what these places were and never heard of them before, that's how I explain it. It's like the older brother or the bigger daddy or the more expensive option, which is quality over quantity kind of thing.
The only thing with that, I mean, I do that as well, because it's easy. It's an easy explanation. But the only thing with that is people go, "Oh, so it's just an expensive McDonald's," and it's like, no, it's a completely different concept.
Go for the chips, the Cajun fries are.
Yeah, but then you get people go, I don't like my skin on my fries. If I'm paying all that money for fries, I want you to peel them properly. It's like, okay, all right, God. So the problem isn't the food. The problem is your wallet attachment, and that's fine. That's fine. Just don't say the food's shit if you don't want to pay for it. You're the problem, not the food. God. And I mean, I am that problem as well. There's a reason I don't have Five Guys all the time. Is because fuck, who could afford to spend 50 quid on a burger every time you want? Well, my God, it's good. I'm too cheap to pay £30 for a burger and fries. 30 quid? you got down south tax. The GBK burgers you can buy at supermarkets are exceptional. Do you know what? You don't even need to buy a GBK burger. Go to Aldi, if you've got an Aldi near you, and they have, I think it's a pack of 4 Aberdeen Angus ones. Not like, they've got like some proper Poncy looking ones that are more expensive. I think it's only like 3 quid, £2.69, whatever, maybe, for 4. Just that pack of 4, that's all you need. And I've said this a million times before, usually on a Wednesday stream, because I've usually just had a burger. But get yourself a burger press, like £5 off Amazon, and it's just a little metal bowl that comes with a little metal disc that you can flatten your burgers down. Anyway, get your big fat burgers and squash them down to make them into Gax used the phrase smash patties. Best burger in the world. Facts. But we basically turn our Aberdeen Angus burgers from Aldi into smash patties and flatten them out using a burger press and fry them off that way for a few seconds. And oh my God, fit as fuck, mate. So you don't even need to go for the Gubik burgers and stuff like that. Just get yourself the good-ish ones from Aldi and job's good. Middle class Mackie D's. Yeah, exactly. Although middle class presentation, upper class pricing. Yeah, nice. Anyway, 22 minutes of burgers aside. Should we talk about some video game news?
Do you know what, Graham? Another slight tangent. Do you reckon that we should run the credits again, or we're just going to leave this as it is and have it as like a little mini pre-show?
No, I feel like we keep it in. I feel like we keep it in.
Okay.
But let the people on YouTube see what they're missing by not just joining us on every other stream that we do. Let the people that are listening to this on Spotify going, oh, fucking, I'd love a burger chat. Like Luke Pastile's just dropped in then going, always remember to toast your buns, people. Yeah, but enough of that. Let's talk about burgers instead. No, 100%. Lightly toast, get a brioche bun, lightly toasted. Sesame seeds or not, your choice. Lightly toasted. Bit of butter if you want. Understand if you don't want it, because some people go, oh, there's enough sauces on the burgers and juice and stuff like that. But it's up to you. Smash. Yep. Suckers, they should have joined. Exactly, cookies. If you wanted to have that conversation with the burgers and you just sat there and listened to it on Spotify, which we do appreciate you for, but you thought, oh, do you know what? I've got a really good thing that I do with my burgers. Something with gherkins, something with barbecue, whatever it is. You can't tell us because you're not here on Twitch. So do feel free to join us 10 a.m. UK time-ish on twitch.tv/icecreampods. You can get involved in future conversations. But for now, the conversation is going to flip to video games. So we have a bunch of stories to talk to you today, including the fact that the PlayStation 6 release window may have just been revealed. I know 80% of the people listening to this probably still don't have a PS5 yet. but the PS6 is on the way. Ish. That's obviously sprung from the PlayStation versus Microsoft, Activision, Bethesda takeover stuff that keeps rumbling on. Do you know what? It's actually quite funny. I listen to a lot of other video game podcasts, and almost every single one of them is bored of this Activision Blizzard like Xbox crossover thing, and I'm like, how are you getting bored of this? I know it's taking forever because it is trundling on and nothing's happening as such because, bureaucracy, red tape and so on, but we're finding out so much stuff. If this wasn't happening, it would just be a slow news day and we wouldn't have PlayStation 6 release dates. We wouldn't have Epic versus Apple, like financial information that Epic would never release. We wouldn't have estimates of Xbox sales because of that sort of stuff. There's so much information that comes out of it. I find it bizarre that people are tired of looking at this situation because for me it's showing stuff that we don't get to see.
Absolutely, I think it's the most significant thing to happen since the Epic Game Store and Apple going at each other regarding Fortnite and monetization on their platforms. Like, this could genuinely change the landscape of the way that we end up consuming video games for the next 20 years, if you wanted to put a date on it. So yeah, damn right. I mean, it does feel like that we're moving at a snail's pace, and it's an extra sentence that gets added on top of what we already know. However, the sentences are starting to build paragraphs, and the paragraphs are leading us to something that's either going to be in favor of Microsoft or something that's going to go for PlayStation. I don't know which way it's going to go.
I mean, I still feel like it'll end up in Microsoft's court. I still feel like it'll go that way. I still feel Microsoft will get Activision Blizzard. They may have to meet some sort of assurances, but Microsoft have had to do this multiple times with European regulators and so on in the past. They have a lot of experience with it. Just because it gets held up doesn't necessarily mean that they've not learnt lessons from last time. There's just a necessary course that has to be gone, and that is put it out, get it denied, get people looking, investigate, share some more evidence. Jobs are good and nice, move forward. Although it's not that quick, it takes a long time. I still feel like they will get through that. So that is the first story. We've not even started talking about the story yet. Just about the headline. Before I do into that, you need some sort of burger bar sponsor. Pretty much got one, mate. Pretty much got one. Well, we haven't. We just, I said we just. I may have a very favourite burger in the world, which isn't available anymore. It was the Bada Bing burger from That Burger Place, which has restaurants across Manchester, Swinton, Walkden. They've got one opening up more like Bibby's side of town, actually. You might be able to get it delivered to you, actually, when that opens up. March 28th, I think it is.
Where's that?
That Burger Place. It's opening. I think it might be your end of town. I'm not sure. So it's opening. Do you know what? It might be too far thinking about it. It's in. Aldo Industrial Estate. No, it's probably still too close. It's probably still too close to town centre. But it's Manchester City Centre, covering delivery and surrounding areas. But you're probably still too far away. But that burger place in town. I know the chef owner dude, and he might be sorting some food out for format as well. We'll see whether we can figure that sort of stuff out. He's come back to me and said that he would love to do that. He would love to cook food for us, and he could potentially take over the Seven Brothers kitchen in Ancoats. But I'm like, yeah, that's still like a 25-minute walk across town though, for 25 people during format. So
I don't think that's bad, because I bet you'd be able to get the free bus, because people, if you're not coming up on trains, are going to be parking somewhere. The free bus, the 3 free buses that go around Manchester, guarantee it'll get you closer to that.
We'll have to discuss that in Discord. Anyway, we'll put a pin in that for now. Also, last thing, I swear by this in a burger, which is single variety jalapeno chili jam. Not the biggest jalapeno fan. That said, I do like chili jams, so maybe give that a go. No subways, not in Manchester. We don't have an underground. London does, but Manchester, Worcestershire doesn't. I also swear by this as well. You can often find it in Aldi for £1, but Meat Lust barbecue sauce. It's called barbecue mop sauce, thick, sexy. What is perfect for burgers? Get involved. Anyway, okay, we're going to talk about PS6. We'll then follow that talking about Dead Island 2. We'll then follow that talking about Call of Duty Mobile, Facebook sacking shitloads of people, and the first game that you can expect on PS Plus in April. But for now, we did kick off talking about the PS6, so let's jump straight back in there. This one is written by Rory Young at Game Rant, and it says, PS6 release window may have been revealed in Microsoft's Activision acquisition documents. So documents associated with Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard may reveal a tentative release window for the PS6. Interesting. I'm going to stop there just for a second and say this is why I always find like these cases, this is why it's amazing, because it can change the landscape hugely. If Microsoft know when PlayStation are planning to release their PS6, that can change when Microsoft plans to release their next Xbox. And if PlayStation think, Microsoft are pushing theirs earlier to beat us, then PlayStation could push theirs earlier. And it you get those moves and counter moves, things that could change the whole environment. But I haven't read through the article, so let's go through the rest of it. So documents related to Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard and the future of Call of Duty may have revealed Sony's release window for its PS6 console. The ongoing effort for Microsoft to acquire Activision Blizzard has led to some interesting details being leaked regarding PlayStation's ties to Call of Duty. While most information has been redacted in these documents, some PlayStation fans have been able to connect the dots and reach an interesting conclusion regarding PlayStation's next console. There are obviously no current publicly announced plans for a new PlayStation console at this time. The PlayStation 5 has been available for less than 3 years and is thriving, yet an industry of intense competition where video game development and mass-scale hardware production can take many years. Plans for the next PlayStation are likely already well underway. Those kinds of plans historically aren't shared publicly, however. An analysis of documents provided to the UK's CMA regulatory body in 2022 led to an interesting report this past year. A combination of statements, the first mentioning that Sony has special access to Call of Duty until 2027, and the second saying Sony would have special access to Call of Duty until its next console release, led to speculation of a 2027 launch date for the PS6, but that's not necessarily the full story. So to summarise, you will have special access to Call of Duty until 27, and you will have special access to Call of Duty until you release the next console. So people are drawing dots and saying that's the same thing. So with rumours surrounding a 2027 release window for the PS6 going around again, Reddit user SciShocks called attention to an important detail. Specifically, they note that the documents that say Sony would be launching its next console after the Call of Duty deal expired in 2027. If the Call of Duty deal lasted through a game release in 2027, with Call of Duty typically releasing annually in November, then a 2027 PS6 launch would not be realistic. Here's where further context is necessary. It was 6 years after the PS1 launch that the PS2 arrived, 6 again for the PS3, 7 for the PS4, and 7 again for the PS5. 7 years from the PS5's launch would be 2027. But if 2027 isn't Sony's chosen year, then PlayStation is entering new territory. Based on the language in these documents and the historical turnaround for new consoles, 2028 might make sense for the PS6, but it's entirely possible the PS5's popularity, modern hardware costs, and other reasons could push the PS6 into 2029, 2030, or beyond. Given that Sony referenced a specific year in the documents taken from the Microsoft acquisition filings and that it's being used in arguments regarding the future of Call of Duty, 2028 makes the most sense. If it was beyond that, the conversation surrounding Sony's access to Call of Duty and Microsoft's ownership of Activision would become more complicated. Still, if there's one takeaway, it's that the PS6 is far off and the PS5 is looking like it will be Sony's longest console generation yet. Interesting. PS6 2028 confirmed ish. Thoughts, Bib?
There's a few things regarding this. Like I don't believe nowadays that having a necessary release date or a confirmed date for a console in which you think that you're going to bring out a new console, I think those days are dead. Like, we didn't used to have massive gaps in between console releases, but generations that you could the generational gap between the Mega Drive and then the PlayStation 1 were outrageous. PlayStation 1 to PlayStation 2, outrageous. PlayStation 2 to PlayStation 3, there was a lot of change, and you could probably warrant that we needed a console generation skip with that one. 3 and 4, until the latter stages of the PlayStation 4, I don't think that there was so much difference between them. But between 4 and 5, infinite amounts of change between them, not just graphically, but in terms of faster loading times, because SSDs were a lot more common and easier to be able to work with, and GPUs and CPUs and all the other stuff that comes along with it. It's very easy for me now to be able to say the PlayStation 6 isn't going to be that different from the PlayStation 5, because we feel like we're at a critical stage where we're not going to get anything new. They can't really do much more with the technology available to us, but that's very stupid of me to be able to say, because things evolve every single day. Things become cheaper. Things have become much more accessible. Like, you couldn't find a PlayStation 5 for love nor money 12 months ago. However, they're pretty much, if you wanted to get one now, order one today, you can pretty much do that. So things are becoming a lot more available. Things are becoming a little bit cheaper. But I think PlayStation and Xbox have got to a point now where they're like, do you know what? And they're very much in the Nintendo park with this. A new system will come when we feel like it's time, or there's been that much in advance in technology that we feel like it warrants a new system. The firmware updates that we can get over, I know it doesn't change, it might not change the way in which we're consuming the games via a PlayStation 5 and what the output is. Games get better as the console generation goes on without you needing to change the GPU that's within your within your console. I'm using GPU there. Obviously, there is a graphics card that's in it, might be part of a chip or whatever it is. It's not technically like your PC where you can just swap them out for something else. But games become a lot better using the processing power that your PlayStation has without you needing to take it apart and put a new one in. That's just the way it is. Devs become a lot more used to using the equipment that they're given and to try and get the absolute best out of it. So games that come out at the very beginning of a life cycle and games that come out at the very end are complete. You'd think there were two different systems that these games will have been played on, because they look completely different. So yeah, in terms of what the Switch is like at the moment, I feel like we have come to a point where it's at its absolute max. They can't really do anything more than that. We've seen Pokemon struggle on there. I'm very interested to see what a Zelda game looks like on that. I think that might end up struggling quite a bit compared to what it was like when the original Zelda game came out. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like they'll only warrant it. We can say, oh, it's going to be coming out in the next 3 years, but they might think, actually, we're going to wait 6, just to be absolutely sure that we are future. That's essentially why they're bringing them out. They future-proof themselves for a certain amount of time. They will get console revisions. I'm not including that within this product cycle, because the consoles will become smaller. They might have a bit more efficiency. They might have a faster SSD. They might have a bit more RAM in there or something like that. But in terms of graphical performance. You'll have some tweaks like you do with the PS4 Pro and stuff like that. You might have some more enhancements that you're able to do that. But in terms of a console generation, it's still within that remit. So yeah, revisions, I can absolutely see that within the next 3 years. I can see a smaller version of the PlayStation 5 coming out. But in terms of what we're going to be getting from a brand new PlayStation 6, I still, even 3 years into this product cycle, I can't see that for at least the next 6 or 7 years.
Yeah, do you know what? I agree. I agree. So 6 to 7 years has been the norm for console life cycles, but we're in a very different world now. So going from 6 years to 7 years was a step, but 7 years to 8 or 9, I feel like is, whilst it's a big gap, it's a conscious step in the fact that the first 2 years of this generation were pretty much written off by microchip shortages anyway. We couldn't get hold of hardware for love nor money. So that's why I was saying there's still a lot of people that haven't got next-gen consoles because in the window where they could get them, not always, but often a lot of people will only buy consoles at Christmas. In that window, they were unavailable, so they've missed them. Obviously, they were a bit more available with Christmas just gone, but they will probably be a lot more available with the Christmas coming. So by that point, we will start to get proper market saturation. Not saturation, but embedding. So at that point, that's when conversations can start to tee up where we would usually be. 3 years into a console life cycle like now, this is where you'll often start to get your conversations about, do we get a 1X and a 1S version of the console? Do we get a PS5 Pro? Do we get a slim version of the console? That often happens 3 years in. We are there now, but we're 2 years back. Yeah. So give it 2 years' time, we'll probably get to that bit, which then means you've got a chunk of time before we get the next one. And arguably, there wasn't that long between the PS4 Pro and the PS5 hitting. And I think that was more of a necessity sort of thing. People knew that the consoles were at the edge of their limits, even with the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X console. People knew that the consoles were already kind of hitting the top end of what they needed to do because developers needed to access new technologies, new softwares, which were only going to be compatible with new systems, the likes of ray tracing and so on. So to bring that sort of stuff into games, to make like clear visual differences, you have to bring in new hardware. So I feel like the end of the last generation was pushed because of a huge step in hardware. The addition of RTX in particular, as well as obviously SSDs to increase loading times and so on, that will take care of the majority of stuff in this generation. Don't get me wrong, there's all sorts of graphical prowess that will be stronger and better and so on. But you throw in RTX and an SSD, and the developers will be able to do so much more, even with a lower processor and graphics center in a console, than they would have done in the last generation. So I don't feel like, and someone feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, I don't feel like there's been anything of that ilk yet. So for now, I don't feel like there's anything pushing PlayStation or Xbox to go, okay, well, we're definitely going to get something out by 2026 and 27 because, yes, it'll be like, okay, well, we're years behind schedule because we couldn't get stuff out and there's no big RTX SSD sort of PC tech that we can drop into a console and like make it a bit more commercial mainstream. There's nothing really doing that. All of the advances on top of that stuff has been the likes of your DLSS and DLSS and so on. Software side. So beyond that, I agree with you in terms of I don't feel like it's just around the corner. I feel like it's a long way away, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's 2028, 29. I'd probably be starting to get surprised if we get to the likes of 30, because a 10-year console lifestyle, ooh, that's a bit long. And also, the idea that you'll still be playing your PS5 in 2030 sounds so bizarre. But I mean, who knows? Who knows? I mean, we could get anything could happen in technology between now and then, and cloud gaming could completely take over the world, and any console just becomes irrelevant, and maybe we don't need a PS6 or whatever. Who knows? Who knows? But 2027, 28. I think 28, from the sounds of that, sounds logical. This being a longer lifespan in general is something that makes sense to me, because games take longer to be made. If a game takes 4 years to be made, or 7 years in some instances, you could start making a game on day one of a console generation and release it just in time for the end of a console generation. How do people build content for the start of the next generation if it's that sort of lifespan? You're always chasing the end of the generation kind of thing. Yeah, I feel like generations themselves will have to become longer just to account for that, plus hardware and so on. So, yeah, we've gone from 6 years to 7 years. I wouldn't be surprised if we go from 7 to 8 this time, or 9. Aren't we due a PS5 Pro and Xbox Series S, X, 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 X? Yes, ish. So that's a bit of just, you might have been AFCA at that bit. So we would usually be due it now. 3 years-ish into the generation is kind of your refresh point. 3 to 4 years in is where you'll get the, hey, do you want a new faster thing? We've got a new faster thing. I feel like the only reason we're not getting that is because most people watching this or in this stream or listening to this on demand will probably be in the 10% of top end of gamers that are committed to gaming enough to be listening to a video game podcast outside of playing their own video games. So we've probably more likely to have these consoles already than most people. But most people still haven't got these consoles. If we're looking at install numbers, PlayStation has 30 million, which is only 25% of what they'd got to in their last console life. What I don't have access to, which would be a good telling point, is to compare like for like 3 years in how many sales for the PS4 versus how many sales for the PS5, because I know the PS5 was the fastest selling console, but fastest selling can be crunched in so many ways. That could be units off of shelves per capita or whatever. So it might not necessarily be the fastest selling in terms of best selling console, because it's fastest selling out of all the stock that's available, but not fastest selling in terms of number of units. I don't know. Surely we're in a place for upgradable consoles now rather than swapping them out. Yeah.
There was laptops that was made for that, weren't there? I remember a couple of years ago, Linus was reviewing a laptop that you could change, and there was even mobile phones where you could literally change all the parts. I mean, the mobile phone thing, we kind of came full circle with that, because back in the day you was able to change the battery yourself. That's usually the thing that ends up dying the first on your mobile, because obviously you charge it pretty much every single night, or you've got it on wireless charging on your desk or something. So replacing the battery usually gives your phone a new lease of life. So when it's refurbished, chances are they've just put a new fucking battery in it and sold you a £400 cost. But there was laptops that were being created where it was like Lego bricks, where you could replace the screen if you wanted a bigger IPS screen or something a little bit more faster. You could change the keyboard, you could change the internal parts, whether or not it'd be a new battery, a new GPU. If you wanted to add a network cable to it, a network cable port, you could just tack that on. Like, these things are being made. I just don't think they're mainstream enough because they aren't good enough yet. So you could get in on the ground floor by spending £1,000 on something that you can upgrade as you go along. But in terms of the upgrades that they were offering, I don't think we're at a point yet where it's viable for the average consumers, i.e. me and you, Graham, to go in and go, actually, I want this Lego laptop where I'm able to change all the parts myself as and when I'm able to afford a new GPU. That, my friend, is called a desktop PC. We can do that ourselves. But in terms of a laptop, that's a completely different question. I just don't think we're quite there yet.
Yeah, the issue with that sort of stuff is standards across the board, like standards that people agree on, and you see it with, and it often PC. I don't know whether it's just because it's a bigger form factor because you've got a desktop unit to work in, but PC much quicker gets to agreed upon standards than we've seen with mobile phones and mobile technology and console technology and so on. In terms of, we had HD DVD versus Blu-ray arguments with PlayStation and Xbox a couple of generations ago. We have micro USB versus mini USB versus USB-C versus Lightning versus every other adapter under the sun. So the issue with technology kind of follows in that sort of trend is, if we make it so that you can have a Lego console where you can swap in and swap out components, people need to agree that this port, this charger, this system is the best way to go. Whereas there's just general opinion that, no, we think this one's better, and then there's vested interests as, okay, we think that one's better, But we are part owned by this company, which owns this software.
Yeah.
So that is the one that we're going to use as our proprietary software. And if we go with the one that you want, our parent company will lose $6 billion, which is more than we're going to earn across the entire life cycle of the console. So we're not going to do that. So that's probably one of the biggest reasons why we don't have swap in, swap out stuff, because Xbox will have their own proprietary softwares and hardwares, and Microsoft will, Nintendo will, and Steam Decks, Valve will, and so on. So yeah, there'll be also
third party to change that process as well, though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So like you're saying there about the first party stuff, they're wanting to use their proprietary stuff. If someone comes in and you buy a HP laptop for £1,500, knowing full well that later down the line you want to be able to swap in a new CPU, a new GPU, a new screen, or whatever, and you're thinking, okay, HP are they going to be the guys that are going to be able to sort that out for me? I have to use their stuff. The third party goes, you see that £500 screen that you can see over there that HP are, trying to get you to buy? We could do the exact same screen for £250. Where's HP going to be getting that money from then? Third parties can come in and take away the jeopardy of you being a sole customer. I mean, iPhones have had to change their charging ports over the next couple of years. I don't know whether it's being enforced with the new iPhones or what, to have to be standardized USB-C, because apparently across the board that's good for the consumers rather than to have to just buy lightning cables for their products. They've been forced to do that. That's not something that they can sell. Imagine that happening 10 years ago.
I mean, it did. It did. So the reason the lightning adapter exists is because Apple was using the 16-pin wide adapter, which was fucking ugly. Also, you could only put it in one way around, and chances are you'd put it in the wrong way around and break the fucking thing. But all of the different invested parties, be that governments, be that people that want to save recycling and so on, they were all like, we need some standardized. We've got micro USB, mini USB, and so on. We need to pick one that we can go with. And Apple went, you know what, we're completely here. Let's get rid of the 16-pin adapter, and yeah, we'll go with Lightning. And it was like, no, that's not what. No. And Apple were just like, yeah, Lightning adapters everywhere. Fucking iPods with Lightning adapters and everything, and they rolled with it. So they'd already done that once, but. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see whether they actually do roll onto USB-C. And if they do, if that's something that they have to do, or the other thing is what's more likely with Apple, it's probably more likely that their Lightning adapter was something that they'd already designed, beat the previous standards that were available, and USB-C now is at the level where, we can sell all of our accessories again, make people buy brand new AirPods again, but also the USB-C is up to scratch as well in terms of par for par. So we get to just resell everything again. So Apple will probably be more likely doing it because, we can do it because it'll just save us some cash, earn us some cash. Job's good.
That was their vested interest, though, having the lightning cables, wasn't it? Because essentially, unless you're buying a third-party one, they're going to be making a shitload of money because they're the ones that are going to be manufacturing it, rather than having to outsource USB-C cables for their handsets. Like it was definitely in their best interest to offer that service. It just wasn't a service that was going to stick, unfortunately.
West says, I think it's the USB-C is a legal requirement now in the EU. Wasn't there some law about standardizing ports on phones? That's the thing, though. I don't know how legally required it was, because I know that conversation started around the Lightning adapter. If it is actually in place as a legal requirement now, it's still definitely a money spinner for Apple, because, you've all got Apple Lightning adapters, cables. Well, we can sell you a Lightning to USB adapter, which is a little tiny thing that you could probably buy off Amazon for £4, but the Apple version is $34.99. So yeah, sadly, we can do that for you, and we can sell you new Apple USB-C cables for another $19.99, whereas you can get that $4.99 off Amazon as well. So yeah,
imagine forcing Apple to do it though. Like, 10 years ago, this never would have happened. They wouldn't have gone, okay, Apple, we need you to sort this shit out. We need you to change your handset to suit the rest of the world. They would have just gone, fuck off. Not a chance that we're doing that. But now we're in a situation where they kind of are being bent over a barrel and saying, you're going to have to do this at some point. We're standardizing it across the entirety of Europe. It's going to help, like you say, recycling plants be able to get rid and distribute and break down all of these things to try and make it recyclable or go into landfill or something like that. Like, yeah, it's it never would have happened 10 years ago, but I suppose that's just evolution as human beings, and we need to recycling wasn't really as big as it was. It wasn't really big 15 years ago, and now everyone's tend to do it. Like I said this to Samantha the other day, I don't see people littering anymore. And it's it's something that you used to see people walking down the street throwing fucking cig wrappers and stuff like that down the road. Like, I don't think I've seen someone litter with my own eyes in years. Are you the same? Like,
yeah.
is anybody else?
I see lots of litter, but I don't see anyone littering, so they're just crafting.
Yeah, I
with
don't
it
see
now.
anybody throwing stuff. Yeah, they wait for to get into the car and then just throw it on the floor, hoping that no one else will see. But in terms of someone actively finishing their packet of crisp and dropping it on the floor, I genuinely haven't seen someone litter forever. And that's just us as human beings going, yeah, it's probably not right that we was doing that in the first place. We need to make a change, and people have done it. Fly tipping's still rife. People do it all the fucking time. Yeah. But in terms of just general litter, I haven't seen that forever.
Let me just jump back through the chat and catch up. Polaris, welcome in. Good morning. It's 4:45 a.m. where I'm at. Woo! All right, good morning and a half. Sheesh. We got the Tito comment about the PS4, 5 and Pro. We got to the upgradable consoles conversation there. So, no, it doesn't... talking about upgradable. Are we due a PS4, 5 and Pro? Polaris says, no, it doesn't make sense due to shortages. The current gen release during COVID. Who knows when the next gen will release, even if it's a slight upgrade from the next gen console. But who knows? Tito, when I asked, said, did you not see me talking about that? But no, I typed it before you mentioned it. Are games still being released for the PS4? Don't they normally signal the death knell for old gen before moving on to the next one? Well, PlayStation did signal the death knell for the last gen by saying, we believe in generations. We will make games that are currently being planned for the PS4, and then we will move to the PS5. But all our new games are for the PS5. And then they had massive hardware issues and supply chain issues. So Miles Morales came out on the PS4. God of War came out on the PS4, I think. And probably Horizon 2. So most new releases have come out on the PS4. But that's because they haven't been able to shift the units for PS5's. Economic downturn as well means a lot more people probably aren't going to rush into buying those. And when you've only got a 30 million install base versus 120 million for the last gen, it makes financial sense. So they are still making some games for PS4, most games for PS4, I imagine, over the last year or two. But some are now becoming just PS5 only. Like Ratchet and Clank is next gen only. Obviously, that's not super freshly relevant anymore. But yeah, more will start to go that way. Damn it! Wife got me an Xbox for Christmas. I could have waited. No, you're definitely not bad. I imagine you've probably still got another couple of years before we get the Xbox Plus or the PS5 Plus or whatever we're going to call it, Pros or whatever. So, yeah, you definitely should have put your Intellivision Amico order in, though. That is definitely a schoolboy error. Tito says, phone blocks got canned by Google. Thanks, Google. It was an excellent modular phone. Now, however, Nokia has recently released one that can be taken apart and components replaced. Imagine using a Nokia or Nokia in 2023. Woo! I bought a laptop from 2020 with a GTX 1060 Ti with a beefy new CPU and AMD CPU that for over a year that year for over $1,800. COVID definitely had an impact with the market, even if the market has become slightly more normal. It has. COVID plus crypto had a huge impact on pricing as well. So COVID, microchip shortages, and crypto all pushed PC components sky high. You were getting better costs buying full pre-built PCs than you were buying the components because people would then start to amortize the costs and drop them down. But yeah, if you're buying any individual components full or something, I say more niche, like a gaming laptop is not something that's normal. It definitely is, but it's obviously more of a niche component. More people will buy a gaming PC than will buy a top spec gaming laptop kind of thing. So for something like that, then you're paying a premium for it. Plus, as well, it's not your standard graphics cards. It's a laptop graphics card, which is a niche product, so they charge more for that. They used to do laptop replaceable GPUs, but none of the manufacturers could keep it compatible because of transistor pin counts increased so rapidly. Yeah, exactly. So it's that normalizing of standardizing, should I say, of parts. People go, yeah, it's great that you've got a 32 pin transistor. I don't know how many pins, I'm guessing. 32-pin transistor. But we've just figured out a new one that's got 64 pins and it's like twice as good. So we're just going to roll out with that. And it's like, oh, great. Well, we only just started making 32 ones last year. So you want to move to 64? Yeah, okay, nice. Okay, we'll do that next year. Actually, we've got 120. Fuck! So, yeah. Every country is different with their laws, with the topics discussed. Sorry, I will sit back, relax, don't mean to backseat with everything. No, Polaris, get involved. This is the scoop. So we sorry, terribly sorry. This is the
rightfully sorry.
The idea is that you're chatting on behalf of everyone else that watches and listens on demand as well. So we turn it into the live stream into a podcast. So feel free to throw in. We might not get every comment, we might miss some, or we might have to crawl back to pick up others. But no, feel free to get involved. I remember hearing it was coming just before Brexit and was hoping as it would make so much sense. Apple leads the USB market. Every USB from USB 2 has largely been an adaptation of Apple standards with a trim down to make it compatible. There you go. With everything going on, I don't see another upgrade for console for at least for another year. I think two. Like I say, I feel like we are 3 years behind where we should be in terms of market accessibility. But you can't hold it for 3 years. So I feel like within 2 years, we will have seen the first news and probably had the first release of the PS5 Pro or whatever it's going to be. The USB standard charger port passed last year and should be implemented by 2024 Q4. But like a whining kid, most manufacturers decided to not include a wall charger. Okay. Great. Nice. Okay, we'll put a pin in that. So PlayStation 6 will release in 2028, rumoured. It's not confirmed. Obviously, take it with a massive pinch. This is just people connecting the dots in the documents that Microsoft received as a result of, I believe this is from their subpoena, in terms of their subpoenaed PlayStation, asked for a bunch of information and got it. They got it approved. I imagine that is where this has come from. I'm connecting dots just like the people in the articles are, so do take it all with a big old pinch of salt. For now, though, let's jump into the next story, and we'll start to pick up the pace. We might not get through all of the news stories today, but we might do if we keep the pace high. So we'll see. We'll either slow it down if it needs slowing, or we'll just keep the pace rolling. But for now, we'll jump back to Gaming Bolt, where Ravi Sinha has the next article. It says Dead Island 2 is, quote, around 20 hours long. That's from the art director. So Dambuster's Adam Olsen says this is including some secondary missions and other activities in the upcoming action RPG. So Dead Island 2 launches next month after nearly a decade since its initial announcement. Developed by Dambuster Studios, the action RPG features 6 slayers hacking and slashing through the undead in the ruins of Los Angeles. LA. Nice. It doesn't say that in the article. I just added that because I'm aware of the brand. Nice. Okay. With several locations to explore and an arsenal of weapons, what can players expect in terms of playtime? Speaking to WCCF Tech, art director Adam Olsen and narrative designer Lydia Cockerham were asked for an estimate of the game's duration. Olsen said, quote, I don't know exactly. I think we have a guidance stating that if you take part in some secondary missions and other activities, the whole experience is around 20 hours. That's what we have. End quote. The figure factors in some side quests, but, quote, on top of that, we have the co-op mode, collectibles, and you can always replay Dead Island 2 with a new character if you feel like it, says Olsen. The development team previously confirmed that this isn't an open world game and that each district varies in size. You may come across more expansive districts with various side quests and activities, and progressing enough through the story, and new districts unlock with option to return to previous ones. The zombie types are also different in each. And it's out on April the 21st, but previews and stuff have already been happening this week. But 20 hours long, does that sound good for a Dead Island game, babe?
Yes and no, because the other games, it felt like, 20 hours would just be main storyline, surely. It cannot be a 100% game at 20 hours. I'm not having it. The other Dead Island games have been significantly longer. So main quest, 20 hours, I'll be more than happy with that. I want to see this touching 35 hours overall for side quests and everything else, and doing all your collectibles or whatever else it may be that you're able to grind towards, because that's where the fun is in Dead Island. I'm not someone who thinks that every game needs to be 80 hours. Believe me, it doesn't. There is so many more games that have come out over the last couple of years where I have more than enjoyed the 8 and 9, 10 hours it's taken to be able to complete those games. I mean, me and you had an absolute blast at weekend playing through Shredder's Revenge, and we 100%ed that in 4 hours. Like, it doesn't have to be an 80-hour game for it to be a highly successful, enjoyable experience. However, basing this off past Dead Island games, I feel like 40 hours should be the bare minimum of this to be able to go around and collect. I'm a collector when it comes to in-game stuff. Like, I don't like moving on to the next place unless I know I've got everything within the place that I'm already in, or I can come back to it. So, yeah, 20 hours for main storyline, I'd be happy with that. If it's 20 hours everything, I feel like I've been shortchanged with this one. However, it's a game that I'm still super looking forward to being able to play because, we've waited the longest time for this game to come out. So here's hoping that we're going to get an enjoyable experience with it.
Yeah, see, 20 hours sounds good for me in terms of I'm getting old. I don't want to sit down for 40-hour storylines for every single game. Yeah, your big meaty stories will give me 40 hours. I'm like I've said a bunch of times, I still haven't found time to jump back into Hogwarts Legacy because working out, as people in the Discord would have found out earlier on, trying to get healthy and stuff like that, and watching The Last of Us and other bits and so on. But I've done 17 hours in that, or 20 hours, I think, in that, and I'm 21% in, something like that, almost. So that's the length of this game in its entirety. So to confirm as well what you said about is that going to be 100%? It doesn't read that way. So the way he's put it is 20 hours is if you take part in some secondary missions and other activities, the whole experience is around 20 hours. So he said some secondary activities, missions and other activities. That's probably what most people are going to do. They're going to play through the story, do some side missions, have a little bit of fun, and jump out. If that's the case, 20 hours. If you are looking to complete the game, 100% it, though, it does mention later on that on top of that, this co-op mode, collectibles, replays with other characters, because obviously there's 6 different slayers that you can go through. So those slayers, let's say with some extra stuff on it, you're probably looking, 18 hours for the story. That's 18 times 6 that you've got for playing content there. If you are that kind of person, then there is a lot of content there. So 20 hours is not bad for me. I'm happy enough with that. It's a zombie game that's bright, vibrant, with all sorts of stupid over-the-top stuff because it's Dead Island. You want that sort of stuff. You don't want that sort of stuff to be tedious. You don't need your Assassin's Creed. Oh, by the way, you need to grind this for 60 hours. No, just it's only a 20-hour game. Keep it at 20 hours. So for that, I'm happy enough with that. I don't mind the 20 hours approach to it. That sounds good to me. I will add, though, that I did listen to I don't know if was it live that I was listening to it. No, I think it was the day before. So I think what day are we on? So it'd been Monday's Kind of Funny Games Daily, and Snowbike Mike from Kind of Funny had been to the hands-on event, which absolutely disappointed that we didn't get an invite to this because the game's set in LA. They got some sort of like mega mansion thing in the LA hills and took that over for some like play sessions. Clearly, our invites were lost in the post or something, because 100% we should have been there. But we weren't. Anyway,
one day, Graham.
Yeah, one day. Snowbicycle Michael did say that he was a bit disappointed in the game. His wording was that he was hoping for it to be great and not good, and it was good. It wasn't terrible. It's not exceptional. A lot of people will probably have fun in it, but for him, it was like the mechanics for fighting and stuff were just a bit slow. And then you compare it to other games like Dying Light, which has like really cool fighting mechanics, plus the parkour elements and stuff like that. The game has improved massively over the last one, apparently. But yeah, certain core bits are just a bit slow and clunky around it.
Well, you'd hope so, considering it's been 10 years.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I can understand where he's coming from. He's a person that I trust when it comes to playing video games. He's the only person that I know, barring Ben Ward, over at Next Gen Base. Sorry, West. Ben West. I just shouted it. I know, yeah. But yeah, apart from Ben Ward, they're the only 2 people I know that I've actually had hands-on with this, and especially opinions that I trust as well. So either way, it's not going to deter my excitement for this. I think that's going to take quite a lot unless I genuinely play it myself and think this is ass.
Yeah.
It's probably not going to be the case though. It's a game that I've been super looking forward to forever. So
yeah, there was
here we go.
The standard stuff with it. Like you will see hordes of zombies coming over and over and over, and yes, there might be hundreds of zombies, maybe thousands of zombies. So chances are you are going to see the same zombie in the same t-shirt, looking the same sort of way and so on. It says, but that stuff you just take anyway. That just is what it is for the mechanics of making a game work. But there was cool stuff in that in terms of like the muscle textures and the fiber textures and the bone textures and stuff like that. So the way that you kill each zombie doesn't mean they always die in the same way. Bits might fall off and bits might crumble and so on. So that makes it cool. So there is a lot of cool stuff in there. And at only 20 hours, you're not wasting your life to find to have the ability to look back on the whole experience. 20 hours is a comfortable, play that a few hours a day for a week. Jobs are good and game's finished. Bosh. And then you can sit back and go, it was all right. Or that was great, or what. So, yeah, for 20 hours, I'll take it. I'm still rocking a GTX 1080 MSI and an Intel Core i7-6700K. It still rocks. Good day to everyone. It was a pleasure to hear you guys talking about the topics talked about here today. I'm off to kill some Draugrs. Is that a Skyrim thing? Draugrs on legendary difficulty?
Yeah.
Finally decided to do it because I've never played Skyrim. Oh, there you go. I played Skyrim on legendary before. Good day. Nice. Thank you very much for dropping in, Polaris. We appreciate you coming back. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Enjoy killing the stuff. Okay, where are we? Do you know what? I'm gonna skip some news stories because they're not really news stories. I skip over, should I say, in terms of gloss, rather than just skip them entirely, because they're not really stories that are so much worth dragging over to the next day. We'll just bring them up now. So Activision insists Call of Duty Mobile will be supported for the long haul. This is from Tom Ivan at VGC. Statement follows Microsoft's claim that the game may be phased out over time for Warzone Mobile. But following the claim that Call of Duty Mobile could be phased out, Activision has said it will continue to support the game with major updates for the long term. Quote, "We are committed to Call of Duty Mobile as an important part of the entire Call of Duty franchise and our overall mobile strategy," the company said in a message published on the game's Twitter account on Monday. "We have the best fans in the world and intend to continue supporting the game with a robust roadmap of fresh COD Mobile content, activities and updates for the long haul." In comments published last week, Activision Blizzard suit Microsoft said it believed the long-term plan was to replace Call of Duty Mobile with Warzone Mobile, which is scheduled for release this year. COD Mobile was developed and is owned by Timmy Studios, a subsidiary of Tencent. Microsoft said in response to the UK competition regulator's investigation into its proposed $69 billion acquisition of Activision Blizzard. COD Mobile is expected to be phased out over time outside of China with the launch of Warzone Mobile. Developed by Tencent's Timmy Studio, the free-to-play Call of Duty Mobile was released in October 20... yeah, numbers, fine. What are you taking away from that, babe? Call of Duty Mobile will be here, won't be here. Thoughts?
Well, yeah, because I imagine it is shitting money left, right, and centre. So it
size
doesn't make
of
any
this
sense
moth.
to be able to remove it same way that PUBG Mobile are doing it, and any other mobile game that's currently on the market. They are shitting money left, right, and centre. So to remove it, or get rid of it, or not back it long term, providing that the user base is still there spending money, of course, they're going to continue with this. But I'm still advocating that this needs to be on a Nintendo Switch portable console at some point.
Absolutely. And I agree. I do feel like there is a need to get rid of it in certain circumstances when you have Warzone Mobile. But Warzone is not Call of Duty, and Call of Duty is not Warzone. Not for everyone and not for everything. So getting rid of Call of Duty Mobile doesn't necessarily mean that you can replace it with Warzone Mobile, because it's a different experience. If you are merging those in a handshaking experience that you have with Warzone and Call of Duty main game on console and PC, fair dues, but it's a different concept. Also, like you said, technical terms, it is shitting money. So you'd be stupid to fuck around with your golden goose. That. Yeah, exactly. So there you go. Don't fondle the golden goose, or it may stop shitting those big old golden eggs. So yeah, nice. Okay, 12 Ed! ! Moth. I'll read. I was watching 12 Ed stream earlier on, giving him some encouraging, loving support. I may have said it.
Playing?
He was playing some Poobigas with Lotus and the Bowser and so on. But he was talking about an old Dennis Pennis sort of like sketch kind of thing. I don't think he realised how old I am. So he was like,
Uncle Pop.
Oh, yo, E.T. Nice. Singing over it just to help with the strikes on YouTube. Nice. Yeah, the Strutter bubble. Yeah, fucking Strutter. Wow, what a throwback. Anyway, he was like, yeah, you might remember that. You're a similar age as me. And I was like, no, everyone's younger than you, Dar. All right, settle down, old man. God damn. No, I'm 37, so I'm close. But you are definitely multiple years older than me, too. But still, anyway, next story, Tom Phillips at Eurogamer says Facebook owner Meta announces further 10,000 job losses. Quote, "This will be tough, and there's no way around that." So Meta, the owner of Facebook and maker of MetaQuest VR headsets, will cut a further 10,000 jobs this year and close around 5,000 additional open roles as part of a year of efficiency. It's not very efficient for those being retired, but okay. The cuts come on top of the previous 10,000 job losses announced back in November last year, which equated to a loss of 13% of all Meta employees globally. Announcing the changes publicly via his Facebook page, Meta boss Mark Zuckerberg blamed higher interest guy. He blamed higher US interest rates, global geopolitical instability, and increased regulation on top of last year's slowdown in revenue, which he dubbed as a humbling wake-up call. That said, Zuckerberg noted how Meta was still set on its work developing AI and experiments creating a metaverse on top of its work running its popular suite of social apps. Do you know what? Not bothered, Mr. Zuckerberg. 10,000 job losses. A little bit humbling last year. Is this a lot humbling now? Should Facebook be worried? Is this just a consequence of them overextending into the metaverse and into crypto and into AI and into VR? They're trying to do too many things at once. Quick thoughts, babe.
Yeah, I think that is probably the case. Is things are moving so fast that they are trying to, I don't want to say stay relevant, because they're always going to be relevant in some form or another, whether or not it's through Facebook, whether or not it's through metaverse, whether or not it's through cryptocurrency, all having peaks and troughs.
It's the perfect phrase, though. You say they don't want to stay relevant, but that's exactly what they're trying to do at the same time. Whilst they do have fingers in, not even fingers in a lot of pies, their main pie is a bigger pie than most people will ever see.
Yeah.
People are still eating that pie. It's disappearing. The pie's disappearing. They need more pie.
Yeah, they're spreading themselves too thin, I think. And then when something starts to fail, they've obviously hired a load of people to try and look after that thing. It's not taken off as well as they should have done. It's losing a lot of money. Therefore, they have to draw it back a little bit. And unfortunately, people are having to lose their jobs because there's no money left there for them to be paid. So it's, yeah, like I say, they are trying to stay relevant by leeching onto things that are starting to take off. But eventually, when like the crypto crashed and people lost millions and billions of pounds or dollars or whatever currency that they'd invested in, people lost jobs. And that's essentially what's happening with this. They're trying to leech onto different things that unfortunately aren't doing them as well business wise as they would have anticipated, and they've scaled up. They need to scale back if you're losing that much money, because the other assets that you own is then at risk. The capital that you own is then at risk. So they can't, obviously you can't have that happen with the likes of the metaverse and Facebook. So skimming now will obviously secure people's futures long term for the people who are obviously working on other things. But it's just a shame that, yeah, other people are having to lose their jobs because of things that sometimes out of people's
shit
control. Direction
is what is the word. They lose their jobs because of shit direction. Whether that's Mark Zuckerberg, I mean, to be fair, I wouldn't be surprised if Mark Zuckerberg is now just what's the word? Figurehead, that's it. I wouldn't be surprised if he's just a figurehead for the business now. He's just someone that appears at the top, that's a face that people relate to, but doesn't really fecking do anything because he's worth bajillions and he's got money to buy the best business, air quotes, best business minds out there to run the business for him. Wouldn't be surprised if he just passes messages on. And if it's not him, or if it is him, whoever is making the decisions are making shit decisions. Like Cedar says, the Meta advert really pisses me off. This is what the metaverse could do. But what does it actually do right now? Nothing but have shitty VR games. Pretty much. And that is the meta approach to everything. Some people will probably have good examples of what that does, but those people are probably in-depth media professionals that are vastly on board with using meta systems to promote whatever, be it content, be it build communities, whatever. They may see good stuff in it. For me, I see a failing system that can't even copy Twitch. Its Facebook gaming systems were so badly run. It was like Google releasing Stadia and just going, oh, we're Google. We will do games exceptionally well. Facebook was like, yeah, we're Facebook. We've done online content since before most people did online content. We already have video functions, so we'll just have an area and we'll just call it gaming.facebook.com, and people will fucking love it. Are you not going to build in navigation? Are you not going to make it easy for people to find their content creators? Are you not going to make it so that people can subscribe and support their content creators and stuff? Oh, wait, do we need that sort of shit? Yeah, you do, yeah. Oh, okay. Well, we'll see if we can add that sort of stuff in, and then people start leaving, and they go, fuck, oh, shit, let's add these stars in place of bits, and basically we'll just look at everything that's been done elsewhere and copy it, but where your nannies. Great, not bothered. So, yeah, really badly managed by the people at the top. So it sucks that people are losing their jobs, but it's because they're making shit decisions that don't really have any purpose. Facebook was something new that scratched an itch that people didn't even realize they had. Now they're trying to get you to scratch an itch that you didn't even know you wanted, let alone had. It's like, oh, so I need to get an itch to scratch it, and you're going to give me the scratch before I even... No, fuck, whatever. Just sounds all stupid, so no thank you. I'm going to do a Tinder profile. Multi-millionaire bodybuilder. I mean, I'm not yet, but I will be eventually. Exactly. Yeah, that's it. We're all metaverses. Let's go. Okay, we'll put a pin in that. Last story. April's first PlayStation Plus game is Behaviour's Meet Your Maker. This is from Jordan Midler at VGC. The new IP from Dead by Daylight's creator will launch on PS Plus day one. So Meet Your Maker will come to PS Plus on day one as part of April's lineup for Sony's subscription service. The post-apocalyptic first-person building game will be released on April the 4th, when it will also be claimable via PS Plus. The game, which sees players build and defend outposts against other users, will be available to essential subscribers on both PS5 and PS4. Is that a video? Yeah. I don't like that VGC uses their own weird embed. Just use YouTube. Okay, I've pressed it. It's just headed to a black box. Fine. Nice. So, Meet Your Maker is also scheduled to release on PC, Xbox Series X and S, and Xbox One on the same day. Developed by Behaviour Interactive. Video's now popped up because I scrolled down and up. Nice. That makes sense. Developed by Behaviour Interactive, which is best known for its asymmetrical horror game Dead by Daylight. Meet Your Maker is set in a sci-fi world in which players are tasked with harvesting a precious resource known as Genmat. It features two distinct modes: outpost defense and raiding. Players build outposts and decorate them with hazards, traps, and other dangers for enemy players that enter. The goal is to build your outpost in such a way that means other players can't reach the center and claim the stash without being defeated. Players who build challenging or enjoyable bases can receive commendations from players who attempt the outpost. Once live, a player can then refine their outpost based on how other players approach their creation. Raiding sees players attempt to infiltrate player-made bases and extract the payload without dying. The raiding portion of the game can be played either solo or in co-op. So that's the end story of the day. Meet Your Maker, new game to PS Plus from Behaviour, who make Dead by Daylight. Thoughts, babe?
Yeah, I think this game is definitely made for people with bigger brains than me. I like the fact that you can see where people have started to infiltrate your base, and you can make some amends to stop them from getting in that way and stuff. So that's pretty cool. This is definitely a game that I think I'd prefer to watch than play. I just don't think I would find that much excitement in this, because I don't think I'm smart enough to. The base building games it can go one or two ways with me. I'm either all in or it. I mean, the art style and everything is cool. I really like the way it looks, very Doom-esque. But I'm just interested in, a lot of people who are a lot smarter than me playing this and seeing how they fare with it, and then maybe give it a try myself. It's a free game. Do you know what I mean? It's free. There's no reason why I shouldn't be giving it a go. I probably might do. I mean, that's it's two completely different statements. That I probably might. I don't know. We'll see where this one goes, but yeah, I love the art style. I like what it's capable of doing. I'm just very interested to see how it actually plays, and I think this is definitely one that I would prefer to watch rather than play myself, I think.
It's an interesting one, because art style, it looks like Dune meets Fallout meets fucking Apex in terms of the characters. Now we're seeing bits that look almost Matrix-ish. Plus, you add in the fact that it's made by the people that make Dead by Daylight. So you've got, okay, we've got some prestige coming into this. I'm not sure. I don't think it's a me game. Well, it's not PUBG, so it's not. But I don't think it's a me game. I would be interested to watch it though and see how that transpires. Dead by Daylight the team at Dead by Daylight, Behaviour, have managed to make a game that has done absolutely incredible for what it is. It is such a simple concept. I think I'm probably lost more on the art style overall. I feel like it's almost like Doom meets Judge Dredd sort of futuristic, apocalyptic kind of stuff that's probably not my kind of art style, whereas Dead by Daylight is obviously the style of that fluctuates, but you can have modern day Silent Hill, modern day Scream in it, so I can resonate with that a little bit more than I can with this. So, be interesting to see though. I actually, honestly, after reading your first game is Meet Your Maker from Behaviour as a title, I'm thinking, ooh, and then when I see the video, I think, So, the idea for me was better than perceived reality. So interesting. Anyway, we're going to wrap that up there. Thank you, everyone that has joined us for this show. If you missed any of the stories, let me give you a little bit of a recap. The PS6 is coming out in 2028, confirmed but not confirmed. The PS6 release window has been revealed, or so people believe. We talked about that at the start of the show. We then jumped into Dead Island 2 being around 20 hours long. Activision will continue supporting Call of Duty Mobile. Facebook is releasing 10,000 people from their jobs because they could be doing better. Not that the people, Facebook, could be doing better. And April's first PS Plus game is Meet Your Maker from Behaviour Interactive. That is the news for today. Do feel free to watch it back on Twitch if you've not seen it. You can listen to it on demand and obviously watch it on YouTube and stuff. Cookies says, XOXO, loved it, love you, love chat. Well, we love you. Thank you very much, Cookies. We appreciate you being here. Thank you very much for joining us for another episode. We are going to disappear now, though. I will be back 6:30 p.m. tonight for some Chasing Crates with mates, with Lotus, with Nietzsche, I assume with Beans. Oh, there he is, Batman Dan. You've still not told us a game. Give us a game, Batman Dan. Give us a game. I'm Batman.
Just message either me or Graham in the Discord. We'll get that sorted out for you.
Yeah. Nice. So yeah, do feel free to join us 6:30 p.m. tonight. I will be on, that's UK time, I will be on playing some PUBG Chasing Crates with the old mates. But before that happens, Mr. Bibb, is there you wanna add?
Yes, thank you very much for joining us for today's episode of The Scoop. If you are listening to this on any podcast on-demand service, please rate it 5 stars. We'll very much appreciate it. But if you want to help shape what are we on Wednesday? 2 remaining shows this week, there's 2 ways that you can do so. First of all, find us on social media. It's at Ice Cream Uploads across all major social media platforms, or alternatively, get involved with our Discord. If you're watching this in any of our on-demand services, go into the description below. All the links that you require will be listed there. But all we need from you is the URL plus your thoughts and impressions. We will then give you our thoughts and impressions on the very next show, which will be at what time tomorrow? Mr. Graham Day.
10 a.m. Ish. Have a great day / afternoon / night, says Batman. Can I pick a pre-order? Oh, good question. We've never had that question been asked before. Drop us a message and we will look into it. Let us know what game, what format, and we will look at getting it sorted. You don't need to type
it once on Steam. That was for Hogwarts Legacy.
Interessant. Just pointing out that Batman doesn't need to type ish into the chat. We can do it for you with one of those. Yeah. You're subbed, so just throw that down. Bow ish. So yeah, let us know and we'll look into getting it sorted for you. And there you go, Cookies. There's the link to the Discord. That's it. We will disappear. We will see whoever drops in tonight from 6:30 p.m. ish to. But that's it from us. Stick around while we drop a little bit of a raid on our friends. And until next time, stay frosty.